Hello, it's Ulianka, and today we're meeting Craig Tracy. He's an amazing body painting artist, a judge at multiple events, and also an owner of his own body painting art gallery. Hello, Craig.
Hello, hello.
It's lovely to see you here, and thank you very much for agreeing to meet for an interview.
Thank you.
We would like to know a bit about yourself. Can you tell us where are you from? What was your childhood like? Where did you grow up?
Sure. I'm born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana, in the south of the United States. I'm here now in New Orleans. I live and work in this old sort of historic district of New Orleans called the French Quarter. And it's famous in the world because jazz music was created here. And also we have the second largest carnival in the world. Rio de Janeiro has the largest, and we have the second largest, and it's called Mardi Gras. And so that happens in February. So anyway, New Orleans, I'm 54 years old right now. I was born in 1967. So I'm quite old. My parents were hippies. So that was part of that period of time. And I grew up with parents that allowed me to express my creativity very freely. So they never had expectations of me being anything but what I wanted to be.
This is great. This is amazing.
Really nice, yeah.
Yes.
So they allowed me to draw, paint, sports, whatever was my passion. And as I grew as a child, I was an athlete and an artist at the same time. So athlete, artist. Then around the age of 12, 13 years old, it became obvious that I would not be very tall. I also have very poor eyesight. So I started to focus on my art around the age of 14 years old. By the time I was 15 years old, I got an airbrush for my birthday. And by the time I was 16 years old, I was a professional airbrush artist, painting on T-shirts and whatever in a business and going to school at the same time. Then I went to art school for 2 years, became an illustrator, creating artwork for advertising, publishing, magazine covers, billboards, any kind of advertising, utilizing mostly the airbrush. And I thought that that would be my life. My whole career would be being an illustrator. But then I hated being an illustrator.
Okay.
That was kind of strange. I found it too limiting, not creative enough, because most of the creativity would have already been done by the time it came to me to then render. So all I was being hired to do was render, not create. And I have a brain that wants to be more creative than that. Also, this was before the internet, before YouTube, before Google.
Yes.
And I would sit at home all day alone as a young man. And it's not good psychologically to be alone that much. So that I didn't have any passion and joy for that work. And then at the age of 27, I quit that work. And went back into doing the T-shirt work with the airbrush. I bought my own T-shirt business and was connecting with people again, making small paintings for people. And then I became unhappy with that work because it was repetitive. I was doing what I was doing what other people wanted, not what I wanted. And that became frustrating. And around the age of 28, 29 years old, someone asked me to paint their face for Mardi Gras, our carnival. And I didn't want to do it. I refused to do it for the first request. But then someone convinced me to do this face painting. And I did it and I loved it. And it changed my life because I started incorporating face painting into my life twice a year for Carnival and for Halloween.
Yes, obviously.
Those two. So twice a year, I would paint on faces. Faces eventually led to bodies. And then I said to myself, this is 20 years ago, what if I took it seriously? What if I took body painting seriously? And the first thing that I ever Googled was body painting. So I started to research, understand what was going on in the world. There was a European body painting festival.
Yes, at this time.
At that time, it was called the European Body
Yes.
Painting Festival.
In the previous video, I was talking to Alex Berngret, so
Yes.
and he was saying about the European. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where it's good to be old. Is that you know
You're
you know
not
more.
old. You're the age of my husband's.
Well,
So you're. I don't see you as an old guy.
I understand what you're saying, but yeah, it's beautiful to have this much experience. Is all I'm saying. To have seen so many things
Yes.
come and
Yes.
go and change, and body painting now has been my passion and my life for 20 years, and I've seen a lot, you know. So
Definitely.
I learn about body painting through the internet. I start to collect body paintings. So in my home, I have body paintings hanging from other artists from all over the world. And that gives me inspiration that I can create art that people will put in their homes. So my focus with body painting was not for festivals, not for jobs. It was to create fine art body painting that people would collect and bring into their homes through either the internet or through art galleries. And that would be done through photography. So very similar to music. Like when you buy music, you're not buying live music, you're buying a recording of music.
Yes.
The exact same with body painting. You're not actually buying a human being with paint on them. You're buying a recording of a human being with paint on them.
Yes,
And that's
yes.
how I made my career. So
And
I
this
started.
is something more stable, is
Yeah.
it? It's like you keep it like for forever, not like body painting that you
Forever.
exactly not that body painting that just done in one day and then washed away.
Right. So I understood in my, so I was 34 years old when I thought about body painting as fine art. And I understood that it would have to be through photography, collected, sold, and the technology was good at that time. You can print a photograph on canvas, you can print a photograph on metal, of course, paper, fabrics. So ultimately, I understood that if you can sell photography, you could sell body painting. And I believed in it. So I created my first series, 15 body paintings. I created a beautiful website for these, which is long gone because it was complicated. It was hard to update, but I didn't understand all of that back then, right? So created that series, created videos. The website made me body paint famous, okay? So that when I did go to Europe in 2004 to the World Body, it became the World Body Painting Festival, I believe in 2004. And I was there. And when I'd hand someone my business card, they'd look at me and go, oh, I know who you are because of the internet, because of the website. So, but the website didn't sell any work. So people would give me applause. They would say, I like it very much. Congratulations. Your work is beautiful. But they were not buying my work. And this is something that people often are confused with on the internet. Just because someone watches your YouTube video or gives you likes on your work on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, TikTok, then that doesn't turn into money automatically. And right. I learned that the hard way. So I then began changing my brain because of the way I was thinking. So I thought I would just have a website and people would buy from my website and it'd be great. But they did not buy from my website. They just, congratulations. Yeah. So I then put my work in an art gallery and I sold my work.
Like in somebody's art gallery in your city?
No, it was in Chicago. So I found an art gallery that other artists were selling their work in, normal. When I say normal, I mean not body painting. Yes. I mean, yeah. And these artists were selling their work out of this gallery, and I contacted that gallery, and they loved my work. They said, come. And the first gallery that I contacted was in my city, and they said, we like your work, but no thank you. So rejection, basically. The second gallery I contacted is in Chicago, and they're like, come as fast as you can.
Great.
So I go to Chicago, I put my work in the gallery. It's first time in my life having my work in a gallery like this. And I think I had 3 pieces there and I sold 2. And
that's good.
That felt great. Yeah. Yes. And in one night I sold the 2.
I see.
Okay. And so, and I went to Chicago to experience this gallery opening, right? Like, so anyway, I do that. I sell some art. I come back to New Orleans and I go, because when you sell your art in the gallery, they take half the money or more.
Yes, they take a lot.
It's a lot. So I go, what if I open my own gallery? I had a friend who had an art gallery. So I went and visited him and tried to learn a little bit. And I said, if he can do this, I can do this. And that's something that I'd like anyone watching this video to understand. If I can do this, you can do this. There's nothing magical about me. I'm hardworking, I'm smart, but I think there are a lot of other hardworking, smart people. I'm talented, yes, skilled, yes, but I know more talented and more skilled people than me, that are our peers, But I truly believed it was possible, and I made sacrifices. I make a joke sometimes about this, but it's also very serious. Are you familiar with The Wizard of Oz, the movie?
Yes.
Yeah. And so you have the girl, and she meets the scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the lion. And it's brains, heart, and courage. And I think that the brains and the heart, many of the artists have, but the courage is very difficult for people because you have to, you have to take these chances, and I closed my t-shirt. I closed my t-shirt business, and I opened the first gallery in the world for body painting. And I also had collected books and made myself, as much as possible, I made myself knowledgeable about the art form, who had painted before me, what people had done before me. So when I opened my gallery, I felt confident that no one had ever opened a gallery just for body painting. And here I am now 16 years later. The gallery turned 16 in February. And I opened it 2006. And also things that happened before that. I competed in the World Body Painting Festival. I was with my friend, Gerald Tidwell, another American. We were able to compete as a team. Back then, you could compete as a team, two people, and we won the airbrush category. So we were world champions in airbrush category 2005. That was the second year that I went to the festival. I made lots of friends. Anyone who's never been to the World Body Painting Festival should go to the World Body Painting Festival.
Definitely.
Even if you don't compete, even if you just go as spectator or as take workshops or as a model or, just just go. It's so incredible to meet this many artists, as you know.
Yes, I've been until Life One just once, and then it was COVID. I started recently with body paints, so well, relatively recent because yeah. And do you still live in New Orleans and you have there your gallery?
Yeah, I'm in the French Quarter in New Orleans right now. This is where my home, my studio. So the color behind me is my most recent backdrop.
Yes, I noticed that. I've seen your
So,
painting. Beautiful. Yes.
thank you. So
Yes.
my gallery is only 2 blocks away. So, 2 minutes walking away. So this is my world here.
It's amazing, amazing. Have you lived in any other countries or states?
I've lived in Florida, in the United States, in Florida, but that's where I went to art school, and I lived there from 1985 until 92, I think, something like that, 91, 92. But I've never lived in any other country, but I've traveled.
This is a personal question, so it's up to you whether you want to answer or not. Do you live on your own or with a family?
Okay, so I'm old, right? Like we talked. So I'm divorced. I have a daughter who is 11, almost 12 years old, but we are in divorce. So she lives full time with her mother, and that is, they live about 1.5 hours drive from where I live. So I get my daughter every other weekend and a month in the summer and Christmas holiday and all of that shit. I hate being a divorced dad because it's not in my personality. I love to be with my daughter all the time, but I am not in control of this situation.
Yes.
Now I have divorced now for I think 3 years, separated for 7. Anyway, something like this. But I have a new girlfriend, and she is almost 5 months pregnant. So
amazing.
there will be a new baby, and then there will be a wedding,
Cool.
and then maybe another new baby.
Yes.
So I'm starting a new family. So I live here with my girlfriend and very soon our new baby.
Lovely to hear that. Amazing. Who inspired you in your career when you just started and now?
Well, in regarding body painting, I was inspired very much by a woman named Varushka. Varushka was a German-born woman who became a very, very successful fashion model. And she was on the covers of many magazines. She was hanging out with very famous people, Salvador Dali, Andy Warhol, these type of people, high fashion. And she got bored being a model because it wasn't creative. She's just a pretty woman wearing clothing, looking sexy, but she wanted more in her life. And she quit fashion and she started a body painting series where she worked with a photographer, but she would either paint herself or have her assistant photographer paint her, and she was the model of every one of the pieces.
Oh,
So
wow.
this is similar to what is very popular the last 7-8 years with
When you
painting
paint
your own
yourself.
face. Yeah. So this woman Varushka was doing this in like 1968.
Oh, wow. 68.
1968, 69,
Wow.
70. I
That
have an
was.
image from her. I have an image from her from 1972. She has a book that was released in 1985. I think it's called Transfiguration. But Varushka, easy to find on Google, is a pioneer in fine art body painting. And so I was very much inspired by her. Also, Alex Berngret, the creator of World Body Painting Festival,
Yes.
also inspired by her
Yes, yes,
to
he was
create.
saying that as well. I'm
Yeah,
surprised
so
because I never heard before, never before I heard this name, but now I'm going to look her up.
that's why the old guy is here to talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Varushka, and her book is wonderful, but it's maybe more expensive now because it's in, there's only so many of them in the world. I was also inspired by a project out of South America, out of Santiago, Chile, or Chile, however you would like to say, and it was called Cuerpos Pintados, painted bodies, Cuerpos Pintados, or bodies painted. Cuerpos Pintados was a fine art body painting project created by a photographer, Roberto Edwards, and it traveled through South America, Central America, and then the world, including New York, Europe, and I believe Russia. Cuerpos Pintados started in the 80s and it survived very strong through the 90s. But by the time I was getting into body painting in the early 2000s, it was kind of dying. But the website was there. And the website was, can I curse a little bit?
It's up to you.
The website was fucking amazing. So Cuerpos Pintados, which the website is now almost nothing, if it even exists anymore, was filled with video. It was filled with energy. Many, many books. So I have several of the books from Cuerpos Pintados. Also inspired by other artists that were body painting. The European Body Painting Festival. People like my friend Freddie Schmidt, Mike Shane, they were body painting before me. People like in the early days in America, there was a body painter named Pasher, who is still body painting today. From Brazil via New York and Canada, Alex Hansen. He was one of the earlier influences. But Joanne Gare, I don't know if you know this name, Joanne Gare, Gair. Joanne Gare is a New Zealand woman who moved to the United States, I believe in the late 70s, early 80s. Joanne Gare is a makeup artist who became, and her career is spectacular. She has so much in her career, but to give you a little bit, Demi Moore became the biggest Hollywood star in the world for maybe 5 years, something like this. Joanne Gare was her personal makeup artist at that time. Joanne Gare body painted Demi Moore for the cover of a magazine in the United States called Vanity Fair.
Is that the one like a suit or something like that?
Like a suit, yes.
I've seen this one, yes.
Now, this came out in 92, I believe, okay? And I bought this magazine as a young man. and maybe 22 years old, and I buy this magazine and I go, this is fucking cool. I'm like, that's cool. Now, I never dreamed I would body paint or become a body painter or anything like this, but Joanne Gare had tremendous impact on my life because she created this situation where I understood that body painting was real. And it was in my brain. And then in 98, Joanne Gale started doing for Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. She started painting swimsuits.
I think I've seen that as well.
And she did that for many years. But the first time she did it, tremendous, beautiful work, spectacular, very strong impact in my brain. Now, I don't paint clothing on people. I don't work with supermodels, but it still had tremendous impact and influence. It's like a musician hearing music, even if it's a different music.
You still pick something for yourself.
It's important, yeah. And then now Joanne is a friend of mine. She lives in New York, amazing artist. She's worked with Madonna. It's just, her career is incredible. So Joanne Gare, if you go on her Instagram.
I'll definitely find her. Google
so those are some of my biggest influences in body painting. Yeah.
Can you tell us, how do you start your project from the start to the end? Is it depending on the type of the work let's say the one that is behind you? You've got the background for that. So how would you plan it?
Okay, so one little thing before. When I started to decide that I was going to dedicate my life to body painting, I decided that I did not want a style or a technique. This was very important for me because I had paid attention to life. I had lived in, I was now 34 years old. I had been a professional artist since I was 15, 16 years old. And I decided I didn't want to do the same thing over and over again, right?
Yes.
So I paid attention also to music with this. I didn't want to do the same thing, play the same type of music. So I looked to people like the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, that had many types of music, but had a strong career. So I decided I would try anything I wanted to try. I also decided I would not do a few things. I would not paint clothing on a model. I would use a different model for each painting. So for the first 15 years of my career, I used a different body for each painting. Wow. Now, I don't worry about that as much, but it's like I made my own rule and I break my own rule,
Yes, yes.
And I also chose to not be a service. Now, this is gigantic. I chose to body paint what I wanted instead of doing jobs. I am not a service. Now, I have done in my career, I've done like 6 or 8 body painting jobs, but they were all for big companies, big money. And they offered me enough creativity to feel that this is cool, I'll do this. And so I've done some jobs for different companies, done some traveling, but I prefer the fine art. Now, to do a job, I don't call them jobs. When I do a painting or a project or create an image, I generally allow myself the freedom to not do it one way. So I don't always start with an idea. I don't always start with a pose. I don't always start with a design. I allow the inspiration to come from those places. For instance, The image behind me, I said to myself, I want to do a painting. I need it to be beautiful, but not incredibly difficult because of the amount of time that I needed to do it in. Some of my paintings are very difficult paintings. They require a lot of measuring, a lot of like precise movements and technical challenges. I needed a painting that was loose. So I decided to do an abstract piece. So this is more just abstract, or it's actually, the proper term is non-objective. It's just fluid color. It's more like, it's like emotion. Okay, it's
And
just. Go ahead.
and do you use body paints or acrylics for that, or
So
maybe
the
oils?
backgrounds, most of my backgrounds are painted with acrylic. Most of them, and that most of them are painted on fabric, and this is painted on fabric.
This is an unusual shape.
It's a curve. Like I'll show you.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I cut it off because of my bald head. I figured it was too much with the curve, so
I see.
we'll go like right there. So this particular, I like the idea. I hate that we're stuck with squares with photography and printing. Squares. So
Yes.
I try and break outside of the conventional square sometimes. And this is an attempt at doing that by having the curve. So I painted this with acrylic. Then I put a massage table in front of that. Then I had my model laying across that. And then I painted my model to work with the background, but I allowed her head and her feet to stick outside of the border of the backdrop, so that allows the viewer to see where the body is a little bit easier.
So, apart from this background, so the legs and the head that is going outside, are they going to be painted with the other background, the same color?
The black, no. So I allowed it to be blue all the way across, so that you see where my hands are. So let's say that that's the head and this is the feet. So I allowed this to continue to be blue and this continue to be blue. And, so now every painting I do has a different feeling. Sometimes I'll repeat myself. Sometimes I'm inspired by other artists and I'll just do like a body painted version of another artist's work. Let's say I wanted to do a body painted version of a Picasso, or a body painted version of your work. Anybody, what do you have in the background? A peacock, yeah?
Peacock, yes, I like peacocks.
I love peacocks, yeah. So
I've seen in one of your paintings, is it the sunflowers? There is a peacock feather there.
Yeah. I've used peacocks 4 times in my work that I can think of. One, I just painted a man blue, and then he had peacock feathers behind him that were real. Then I had one where there's a peacock in the back in a garden. Then there's 2 with the sunflowers with the peacock feather, and one with the peacock head. Anyway, peacocks are beautiful. Yeah. But I might see a painting like yours, and I might say, what if I create a body painting from this inspiration? So inspiration can come from nature, from the sunset, the mountains, the animals. It can come from the design on a woman's dress or a man's tie. I can see this and go, wow, I'd like to do a body painting with this design.
So I understand that you don't have like a specifically like main themes or topics for your works.
Ever. But it's very important, to not do the same thing over and over again. I don't want to be limited by anyone's expectations, even my own. I want freedom.
I see. And do you have any artwork that you're very proud of, and when you show your work to the people, that would be one of your favorite one to show, for example?
Well,
Or not
because I've
really?
had my gallery, right? So I have my gallery. And every day, maybe 100, sometimes 200 people come inside my gallery. So I'm not in my gallery very much anymore. I used to be in my gallery every day, all the time, for the first 4 years. But after that, my brother now is the gallery director. And I have two brothers, both work in the gallery. And I have a friend who also works in the gallery. So I am free to be here talking now, to paint, to do anything I choose, right? So the gallery allows me to interact with so many people. And one of the biggest questions is, what is your favorite, right? As the artist. My favorite is an image called Speed. And Speed is an all-white image that has a cheetah running.
Oh, yes, I love this one.
So
Yes,
I
yes,
use this
beautiful one.
image. Thank you. I use that image on my website. I use that image on my business cards. The image is important to me. It's very simple, but it's very complicated.
It is, yes.
And then, so that is my favorite so far of all of my work. I've also created some work that I've not shown anyone yet. That is right now is secret, but I will show in the future very soon. And I'm very proud of that work. But I'm proud, honestly, of probably 80% of my work, 80, like 8 out of 10 paintings I'm proud of. Now, of those 8, I will have a favorite, that is the best. But that's something that I do. I judge, right?
Of course, yes.
So part of my career has been judging
Can you
the
tell a
World
bit more
Bodypainting.
about this? And you
Yeah.
started this topic just now, so.
So I go to the World Bodypainting Festival. I compete. Then I was very fortunate. I win a world championship. Then I was asked to judge. So I've judged at the World Bodypainting Festival. I believe it's like 10 or 11 times. But I've also judged in other festivals, both international and in the United States. So I've judged about 25 body painting competitions. I also am on a television show called Skin Wars.
Yeah,
Have you
this
ever
is the
seen?
separate question which I wanted to touch as well.
Okay,
Yes.
well, I'm also a judge on a television show called Skin Wars, and that has gone global,
Yes.
including countries like Brazil, India. So the impact of that is tremendous. And there I judged a lot. But judging is something that is natural for me. So I am very comfortable judging others. I'm also very comfortable judging myself and being able to go, this I like more than this because of this. But also, this is art school training. In art school, we had critique every day. So this is something that is different from not art school training. So when someone says, art school, they take your money, they give you nothing, I don't need this art school. I say, okay, it's fine. No, it doesn't limit you as an artist, but it does offer, art school offers you a bunch of artists together, and we are all able to have an open conversation about the work. And that became every day for 2 years.
I
Critique.
never thought from this point of view of an art
Yeah.
school, and you're right here. Yes.
Critique, critique, critique. So you critique other people's work, you critique your own work. When I'm painting, I listen to my fans in my head. I hear their voices, and I listen to my enemy in my head. I listen to their voices. This is not good. This is great. All of these voices are in my head when I'm painting. And some might say, that's not good. You should block that out. I say, you have a right to your own opinion, but I have had tremendous success, and I have these voices in my head. And I use these voices to motivate me, like a coach. I can do this better. I can do this better. I will shut my critic up. I will satisfy my fans by giving them something beautiful or something mysterious. But I push myself by hearing these voices.
Great.
So I don't,
from this point of view, yes.
Judging. So a lot of people say, oh, I can paint beautifully, but I cannot judge other people. And it's the most difficult thing is judging. I don't feel this way at all. I sit down, I go, I like this because of this and this and this. And I don't like this because of this and this and this.
Yeah, I can see your point, but then like when I was judging, I can see that I like this and this and this, but when I don't like something, I don't like to tell about this because I feel that I'm
hurt. That's the emotions.
Yes.
But when we judge at the World Body Painting Festival, not Skin Wars, but when we judge in professional competitions, not on television, you just put a number. You just put a number, and the numbers add up with math, and that is that.
Yes. So this one feels easier.
You don't have to confront them with the problems like on television.
Okay, tell about Skin Wars then. Maybe if you can, is it possible to start from the beginning? How you get invited there? How did it work? What is your story about that?
Okay, so I'm me. I'm traveling the world, body painting artist, body painting champion, body painting judge. Also, my art is now being sold in other galleries. Okay, so I have my own gallery, but then a man who sells art all over the world meets me in my gallery, and he wants to put my art in other galleries. I don't have to do much work, travel, but start making more money. It's wonderful. I'm in Las Vegas. My phone rings, and it's my friend, Robin Slonina, who's also my co-judge on Skin Wars. She calls me, and I'm in her city, just arrived, and she has no idea that I'm there. And I go, how did you know I was here? And she's like, I didn't. It was just coincidence. Strange. She was trying to create a television show about her business called Skin City Body Painting. And she was working with television producers to create this show because Las Vegas is very close to Hollywood. Her husband is a professional entertainer. She has a background in entertainment, theater. So she recognizes she wants to do this. She starts working with people. At some point, the producers want to make a show for competition body painting, not about her body painting business in Las Vegas. So she goes, competition body painting, maybe we should talk to Craig Tracy, my friend, who knows a lot about body painting competition. So I get this phone call, then we get connected, and we start to develop the show, even though we have no name, we have no money. It's just communication. well, who would be the best artist and what would be the best challenges? So it's a challenge competition show, and I start to give my ideas constantly. By the time the show has a name, is purchased by a company, a network to make it real, I had probably had 400 communications with the executive producers, okay, for zero money. I've been giving my time, my knowledge,
Yeah.
my wisdom sometimes, yes, and
of course.
giving this for free, hoping that maybe it works.
It will
Like
work.
right now, right? We're doing interview. No money, right? I'm just giving information. So I did this 400 times. Not extensive, long interviews, but email this and conversation that and text message this. But it just, at some point, you're like, this is not going to happen. It's not going to be real. It does become real. It becomes very real. Celebrities, millions of dollars in production, and at that same time,
that was that loud that even people who are not in body painting business, who has nothing to do with this, they told me about this show, and I was like, what, something like this exists?
Yes. Yeah,
that must be.
Skin Wars is the name of the show. Skin Wars. It's not for body painters. It is like this interview is basically for body painting artists, otherwise, or other artists. I'm just an artist, but ultimately, Skin Wars is for everyone who enjoys creativity, entertainment, drama, beautiful body.
That is all of it together. I agree.
All of it together. And so when some people talk about Skin Wars, they say, I don't like the drama. Then I go, you don't like Shakespeare. Shakespeare. Comedy, tragedy, mystery. These are the things that are Skin Wars.
Although it will be painful for those who take part in this, but it has to be this way to be entertaining for people.
With $100,000 as the prize.
Oh yes, definitely.
What would you allow me to do to you for $100,000? What can I, squeeze your finger? Can I pull your hair?
That is a very difficult question, isn't it? It's a very difficult question.
For $100,000, you could probably break this finger, no problem. Just break the one finger, 100,000. It will heal. It will hurt for like 3 weeks.
I don't know.
$100,000 is a lot of money.
It is.
And when we go to the gym to work out, I worked out earlier today. We hurt ourselves on purpose. Okay? You're sweating, you're hurting, your muscles are everything. You're literally pain. But it's okay because of the psychology. It's good for you. If you give me $100,000, you can break any of these fingers you want. If you want to do it again tomorrow, I have 9 more fingers. I'll take another $100,000. So what the point is when you're competing for $100,000, you can have your feelings hurt. You can stay awake all night creating art. The competitors on Skin Wars had no phones, no internet access. They're away from their families. Sometimes they're hungry. They don't have enough sleep. It's going to be okay. People that climb
that's okay. But it's more it's also like when I was thinking of Skin Wars, when I was watching Skin Wars, my perception was I would like to take part in something like this, but probably not big. Well, obviously money is like the something on the top, but it's more about being in this situation when you're under the stress and you release something out of yourself. I'm thinking as an artist as well.
Sure.
So I think this experience is just priceless.
It is. It's impossible to purchase.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, without spending $5 million, if you have $5 million, you can purchase this.
Yes.
I will come, give me some money. I will come and I will be the judge. But that's about what it costs to put this together. Mm-hmm. The television production, all the people, the production alone, I believe there was something between 80 and 120 people working behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable amount of, and then you have the celebrities, which is very cool. They're very expensive people. So Skin Wars was a beautiful project, a big part of my life. I'm very happy that and proud of this experience, because it showed that body painting is an art form. It can be a beautiful art form. Joanne Gare was on Skin Wars as a guest judge, so it's introducing people that I'm, mentioning to the world. Me, right? I mean, I'm famous in a way where my work goes viral or whatever, but now people get to see me, on television, and it's an amazing. But judging with that show was challenging, because you have to tell the artist what was wrong, or what you feel as an expert is wrong with their work, or how it could have been better, or how beautiful it was, how it made you cry when you saw it.
So were you expected actually to say these bad things as well?
Repeat that question.
Were you expected to say not only good things, but like very, very bad, like to raise more drama?
You were not expected to raise drama. You were expected to be honest.
Okay.
But they asked you to give positive, and they asked you to give a negative. There were a few circumstances where I could not give a negative, or I could not give a positive, because it was so good or it was so bad. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like if I had to critique you right now, I would say, okay, I love your glasses. They're beautiful. Lipstick, beautiful. But like this in the background, what is it? What am I looking at? Is this on the other side?
There.
Yeah, what is this?
This is a door. This is a glass door, which is going to be cut, so to have you bigger later on.
No, I don't. So you see what I'm doing, though.
Very good. Yes.
I don't like this doorway. It is distracting. It does not help this picture that you've created.
Yes.
I love the peacock. I love what you're going and got. It was that candle and some little things. Very nice,
Now, since you're talking about this, I'll need to show it to the viewers.
Please, yes.
Because I was going to cut this way and make the whole picture bigger.
But to give you example,
very good. I'll. You know what? I love critique. When somebody will come up to me and say, "Hey, I think this could be better in this way," or I don't know what's wrong with this, but this is something that I don't like. I'm just okay. Just thank you, because I believe that every artist should receive this type of comments like positively, because that makes you better. Is that right?
Yeah. And that is what art school trained me in my brain, the positive and the negative. I want to hear both. Now, if it's fucking great or fucking horrible, then you're just going to hear a lot of one of the two, yeah? So there were certain paintings on Skin Wars, and they'd go, okay, Craig, give us something negative. And I'd go, I've got nothing negative. This is a beautiful painting, done beautifully. And they'd go, okay, well, thank you. So there's no script with Skin Wars other than...
That's good to hear then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Skin Wars was Very, very honest show. Anyone that says different, have them talk to me, because I was there for every episode. In the whole of Skin Wars, I think there were only 3 decisions made that I did not feel good about. And they were beyond my control because there are other judges. Yeah.
Of course.
Sometimes 3, always 2, but sometimes we had a guest judge. And so I might say, this is the best work here. And then the other 2 or 3 judges disagree. And I go, well, there you go. I tried. And sometimes I felt the pressure to agree with them. But most of the time, you know, things were just fucking honest. Now, the scripting was there for setting up the challenges, like, hello, painters. Today, we're going to work in you know, that shit is scripted. But when it came to the judging, like, I'm too honest a person, and my career is too real, substantial, for me to allow myself to take money to lie. That's fucked up. So, you know, I did everything I could do to try and keep that show as honest as possible. And I feel I did a good job. The other judges were amazing as well. Robin is an incredible, talented, smart, experienced woman. And Rupaul, if you don't know who Rupaul is, and you're listening to my voice, Google Rupaul. He's an amazing human being and an icon. He is spectacular. So I loved working on that show and the experience that it brought. And I'm friends with many of the artists that competed on that show. Some of them I knew before because I had judged them in other competitions or had met them at other events. And then about half of them I didn't know, and now I know. And I've become friends with some of them. And one of them was just in New Orleans, Avi.
Oh, yes, I've seen the pictures. Yes.
Avi is a brilliant artist. He's from
amazing.
Israel and lives in Florida now. And just an incredible artist. And he came in second and was very close to winning. And that's one of the most controversial moments in Skin Wars, was that a lot of people felt Avi should have won. And I don't disagree with them, but the judging has its rules, you know? So anyway, that's enough of Skin Wars.
And maybe one last question about Skin Wars. Is it going to continue?
I wish. Skin Wars had 3 seasons. So this is for anyone that was a fan of Skin Wars. I'll give you an inside perspective here. Skin Wars was successful for the network, for the people that bought Skin Wars, the executives that purchased Skin Wars. They felt very good about it. They felt good about the ratings and the potential of the show. They also created other shows after Skin Wars with this momentum. The other shows were not as successful as Skin Wars. And that whole team of executives from that network were eventually removed. Okay? When that happened, Skin Wars had just finished season 3. We were convinced we were going to have season 4, season 5, whatever, right? This was absolute happening. From the network people, from all of the people involved, the momentum was strong. But the parent company that owns the network had a different opinion, fired many of these people or forced them maybe into a situation where they chose to leave. These are things out of my control to even fully know the information without getting too personal, talking about people's careers. But at the same time, Netflix picked up Skin Wars. It exploded in success. And I went from meeting 3 Skin Wars fans a day to meeting 10 Skin Wars fans a day. Just going to my gallery, walking to the store, you just boom. And you're like, wow, that's the power of Netflix. And if you don't know what Netflix is, it's the largest entertainment company in the world. It's giant. And so ultimately, we could not believe that we weren't being renewed, but we were never canceled. So we kept waiting for the phone to ring. Like, when do they call? Like, how is this possible? And then another month would go by, and then another would go by. Then at some point, after about 8 months, 6, 8 months, you go, there's a problem. So I tell people this: Skin Wars was a success, and it was a very expensive show to produce because you had to have all the painters, all the models, celebrities, right? That's very expensive. So what am I seeing? So I might be having internet problems. Let me know if I do.
Yeah, it is. At some point, it was a bit slower.
Yeah.
But
that's
I
always
hear
the
you.
trouble.
I hear you well.
Yeah. Well, I hope it comes back okay. But there's troubles with my internet the last 3 days. I live in a big city, and right now there's having some problems. So ultimately, Skin Wars was a success that should still be going, but there were some other problems that stopped it. And I wish there were more seasons, but unfortunately, the last season that we created was like 7 years ago.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So because of streaming and such, no one understands we're paid. You just see it, but yeah, Skin Wars was pretty much over about 6 years ago when they stopped renewing it. And but anyone that goes and watches it now, it's like it's brand new,
Yes, yes. I was writing like a year ago. I was writing a message. Is it going to continue? And what can I do to take part in it? So
Yeah.
yes.
Well, it was only available to people that had U.S. Citizenship or green card to work.
Oh, I see. So they need to grow it. They need to go back and to grow it more for a worldwide event.
Well, here's what I tell people. Okay, if you have $5 million, own Skin Wars, but Skin Wars could be Skin Wars Italy, Skin Wars UK.
Definitely.
They could have a different name. So it's Body Paint Wars or Body Paint Challenge, but anyway, I'm convinced it will happen again, but will it happen out of Soviet? Not I was Soviet because I'm old. It could come out of Yugoslavia. It could come out of anywhere. Brazil. It could come out of anywhere. But we'll see. Television is being challenged right now because of the internet, because it's so much cheaper to create a YouTube show than it is to create a giant production.
But then, yes, but it's when there are
Quality is
so
never
many
the
people
same.
involved, it's it's hard to make it on your own. So obviously,
The quality is never the same.
never the same. Agree.
It takes millions of dollars to make a Skin Wars happen, and many people don't understand that. When it comes to something like the Body Painting Festival, you can't just make a World Body Painting Festival. It takes a lot of experience and a lot of money.
Exactly. Yes. Do you come across any difficulties by being a body painting artist specifically?
Well, as a fine art body painting artist, people can be very confused because they want to buy an original painting. And that's what they collect. They collect original paintings. And as a body painting artist, I don't have an original painting. I have what music offers. I have a recording. Now, I sell my body painting recordings, my photographs, my canvases as limited edition prints. So I sign my name and then I put the number of the edition. For instance, if this image behind me, it's called Intrinsic Blue. That's the name of the painting. Intrinsic Blue will be sold as a limited edition, and that edition might be the big size, big one for the rich people. That might only be 10 copies. So that's an edition of 10. And so the very first one will be number 1, and then a slash, and then 10. Yes. And those numbers tell what it is. And that's right next to my signature. In my gallery, I sell number 1 of 10 at the lowest price. So in my gallery, number 1 of 10 might sell for $2,000 or $3,000 US. Number 2 might be 500 more, and then it might just keep going. So whoever purchases number 10 of 10 might be paying $7,000 to $10,000 US because I kept raising the price. And the reason I raised the price is because there are less of them available. Others maybe do this different, but this is how I do it. And I've been doing it this way for 16 years.
How many years?
16.
16 years. The sound was not coming through.
Yeah, I'm so proud of this 16 years, you know, like a teenager, yeah?
Yeah. In 2 years you will be, how do you say, grown up? Legal.
Old enough to drink, yeah.
Or is it 21? Yeah.
Well, in the U.S. right now, the drinking is 21, but you can vote and join the military and, you know, do all of these other things. There's some crazy laws, but ultimately, yeah, you become an adult at 18, and I think the 20th birthday of my gallery will be a beautiful birthday.
Are you organizing any events in your galleries, in your gallery?
I only organize small events for live. Like I will paint live in my gallery usually only twice a year. Now, another artist paint every week live. I don't want to be an entertainer. Said the man who's on Skin Wars, yeah? I don't want to be an entertainer. I want people to buy my work and bring it into their lives, into their homes, their businesses. That's what I want. So I focus my energy on that, by doing that.
I see.
But I will paint live in my gallery twice a year, maybe 3 times, but usually twice a year. So I organize that event.
Do you have any things that you dislike about the face and body painting world?
Wow. So you want me to be negative, like Skin Wars?
Well, you're comfortable with this.
I am comfortable with this. I have learned to love almost everything. When I see, I'm in a city, New Orleans, in a neighborhood, a district surrounded with art. There is art everywhere around me, and hundreds of artists in New Orleans, and they show their work and sell their work. And I look at all of it, and most of it, I just smile. That's their best. It's their work. So when I see things like an artist that's maybe not the best or the most talented, or I'm happy that they're painting. I'm happy that they're doing their best. So I don't look at it and go, oh, terrible. Oh, this is so bad. Even as a judge, like I might think it's a little funny sometimes when someone is competing, but they're not ready to compete or whatever. I might go, okay, it's a little funny, but I try to give them the same respect that I would give someone else, human dignity, right?
And at least
Things
they're
that
painting, they're trying.
absolutely, and what why be a negative person about this? Now I'm not a face painter in any way, shape, or form. I started out painting some faces for Halloween and Mardi Gras, but I am not a face painter. Your internet connection is unstable. I have a bad connection, so I'm sorry about this. I hope we can get through. But so when I look at like a lot of face painting, I go, that's cute. It's for kids, for parties, for I'm not a fan of gore and like scary face painting. It's not my thing. I also don't like country music or opera. Okay. But there are amazing artists that create amazing work that do that work, some of my favorite artists do the scary, stuff. And I don't like it. I'm like, why do you keep doing this? Why? Okay, they do it because it's fun. They do it because people give them likes.
Yeah, sometimes they do it because they have, well, I was doing a series of videos for BBC and they asked me to do gore things that were horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm not really a particular fan of gore, but I had to do a few and I just
Well,
had to.
if you're being paid to do something, you're being paid to do it. If it's Halloween, I understand it's Halloween.
Yes,
But
and Halloween, of course, yes.
if it's not Halloween, what the fuck with but this is me, right? I don't like country music. Other people love country music. I don't like I don't like ugly and scary, but I do respect the technique and the skill involved. One of my favorite artists is H.R. Giger, the Swiss artist from the 70s. Fucking crazy, scary work. I love his work. I don't paint like this. I don't hang this in my house, but I love and respect his work.
Yes.
So, but the biggest challenges with body painting is having it taken seriously. And that's what I focus on. For other people, they don't even care about that. But so when someone says to me and they don't know me, they go, what do you do? I go, I'm an artist. They go, what kind of a body painter? They instantly picture something in their brain that is not what I do. So I am challenged by a perception issue. Now, some might say that Skin Wars is part of that problem because Skin Wars created a lot of work that is also I do, but Skin was also created. That is what I do, So Skin Wars was many things, but ultimately it was just an introduction for many people to this art form and an opportunity for artists to become famous. Like in talking to Avi recently, he was saying it's the best thing that's ever happened to me, and he didn't win the money. And if you talk to the woman that did win the money, who is a Russian, former Russian, Lana, Lana was full. She, gave her an opportunity to maybe buy a house or travel or pay bills, whatever. Whatever.
And I couldn't see her around like face painters, body painters. She's not like visible just now. I don't know what's happening. Because you can see Avi quite often.
Yeah, but her focus is changed. But I see Lana working still, but not as much as Avi, you know. But maybe she doesn't have work as much as Avi. Maybe she focuses on being a mother, you know. Maybe she's working on projects that we don't know about, you know.
Yes, yes. Do you have any funny stories during face painting events or face painting, like whatever is connected with face and body art?
Yeah, funny stories. I've been able to travel, right? So I've been able to travel all over the world. So you wind up in funny situations in funny cities. Trying to think. I have a lot of stories, trust me, but to try and think of a specific right now, I would say that I got caught with a bunch of body painters in natural disaster in Thailand. So we were having a body competition in Thailand, organized by some German artists, and Peter and Petra. Can't pronounce the last name, but it starts with a T. And
Transfer? Something?
yes, yes, that's right. And I'm going to say it terribly. Chancellor. But Peter and Petra, if you just Google Peter and Petra body painting, you'll find them. Wonderful artists, very kind. This event, we had body painters from all over the world there. It took me 5 airplanes to get to the location. It was amazing. And it rained for like 10 days straight. It became a natural disaster. Sounds terrible. And people did die. None of us. But we went without electricity. We went without hot water. But we had food. But we had an amazing time being together and using candlelight and playing games with no internet, no television, no computers. The game called there's a game called Truth or Dare.
Yes,
Have you ever heard of this game? Okay.
My children told me about this game.
So just imagine 30, 40 body painters, models, maybe some photographers, all together in a resort in Thailand, in the south of Thailand, with candlelight and alcohol. And we're playing a game where everyone is doing things, but we made a rule that no one can show photos. So, we were able to take pictures, but you cannot put this on the internet. But anyway, so that was a beautiful, fun experience at an event.
That sounds amazing. Great experience, definitely.
With very, very successful and painters world. Yeah, it was great. There's unlimited stories and situations, and but not all of them are appropriate to tell.
Yes, I agree. Sometimes there are some funny stories, but probably not good to tell. Yes. Have you done any other?
One just came to mind that was something that I dealt with. So in the United States, we have the Super Bowl, right? American football. It's our largest sports event. And I got hired by Budweiser here to go to Miami to body paint for Super Bowl Budweiser parties. And they would pay me a lot of money to do this. And I could pick any model that I wanted and bring her with me, okay? And they put us up in a very nice hotel. So my model, I say, where do I paint my model? They say, okay, you're going to have to paint her in this room that is for the workers that are in this facility. So it's where the people that fix things, the mechanics and electricity stuff, that's where they keep their tools and equipment.
Okay.
So it's kind of an ugly space, but it's private. And that's where I'm creating. There's no toilet. So outside of the door of this is a gigantic party with like all of the sexy lights and music and some like famous people are singing and there's thousands of people. The toilets are across the party from where we are. So for my model who's naked except for just wearing a bottom G-string, she'd have to travel all the way over there and come all the way back and all. So to fix this problem, she would urinate into a cup, and then it would be my job. She would then hand me the cup, and then I would have to take the cup, and then I would go outside and pour it in the in like where the bushes, the plants, yeah. So we did that twice that night, and it's just like, what's going on in my life where this is part of my job, you know,
To take out the pee.
to take out the pure warm and I'm in the same room with, it was crazy. But that's part of body painting. It's like they're naked people and we're working with them and, you know. So anyway,
I think
that was a fun story.
Yeah, your image
Sure.
is a bit. Oh, now you're back. Yeah, that sounds like fun.
It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you done any other jobs than being an artist?
Oh, I've been an illustrator and a professional airbrush artist most of my life before a body painter. Since 2006, I've only been a body painting artist. And I've been asked to do other work, and I say no.
I see.
My passion is body painting.
And if you wouldn't be able to do any artwork, what would be the other profession that you would choose?
Lighting designer.
Designer.
So when you go to a rock concert or
I
theater,
see. Okay.
I love light. So colored light, making things beautiful with light. Like if you think of a castle at night, how it can be illuminated, or a restaurant, or music, like, you know, Lady Gaga on stage. I would love to work with light.
Then you would love the festival which happens here in February. It's called Spectral Light Festival, and they do like lots of things with light. They play up with
I would
light.
love that. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Someone asked me this question many years ago when I was just maybe 18, 20 years old. And I went, lighting. Because when I go to a concert, not only am I impacted by the music, but the fucking light is incredible.
Yeah, that brings the emotion out, is it?
And it cannot be reproduced on television.
No.
Yeah.
Apart from just seeing this in life, it's difficult to show or explain. Yes. What would you do if you had unlimited amount of money?
Well, I've thought about this, and I'm fortunate that I've had a good career, and I do have a lot of freedom. So, financially, speaking, this is a great question. I would create a home for body painting. I get emotional when I think about this because I want it so bad. I would love for there to be a home for body painting. And in many ways, Austria has this with the festival, but I want it there all the time. And I want it not for competition. And I want there to be a place where artists can come and see all of the books, see the best work in the world. And so then they're able to create, and they're able to have a museum for this work. So I would create a school for body painting, like a university. So there'd be a school for body painting, a museum for body painting, and studios where artists could be invited to come and create.
To make some kind of a project together, like a bigger project together.
It could be, but it could be just like what I do. I work mostly by myself, but I want a museum. I want a university to teach young artists the best techniques and for them to learn about Varushka and Joanne Gare and all of these amazing people that went before us. And to hear the stories and the legacy, but also to be able to be inspired by that, to create their own work.
Yes, yes. Yeah. I wish something like this could exist and could start, maybe at some point.
It can. Yeah. You said unlimited, and it would take money. Yeah. So in my life, if I make enough money, I might be able to help create something like this with other people, you know? But this is very, 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 very possible. If you are you familiar with Cirque du Soleil? Cirque du Soleil is out of Canada. They make the best circus in the world. This started from the street. The man that created this was from the street, performing in the street. And who would take this seriously? And he grew it into $1 billion industry. Now, body painting is not the same as this, but body painting is spectacular.
It could be just made some other ways, is it? Just to think how to
we just have to keep create work.
Yeah, keep thinking, and because this is why I started to do these interviews, to make it more popular as well, because I quite often meet people who don't know much about face painting, and they still and body painting, and they still think that face painting is having these 3 whiskers for the cat. And they don't expect even children's painting. They are so nowadays they're so advanced that it's actually a small piece of arc straight on the kid. So it moved so much recently years, and people don't realize this. That's why this is one of the reasons that I've started this project. I have nothing from this. I'm not paid by YouTube or anything. It's just for just to push it out for people. Right.
When my work started to go viral around 2004, 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, started to slow down around 2011. When my work was going very viral, I was being interviewed a lot. Be asked the question, what is your favorite thing about body painting? And I would say the sharing. So this is what you're talking about. You're sharing information. You're sharing your energy, your effort, your time. You're sharing it with people. That is a beautiful thing. We share what we do with the model through photography. We share what we do through the internet, through art galleries, through books. We share this art. And that was my favorite part of it, the sharing. Later, as I became more successful, I answered the question differently, and the answer became the freedom. So my life, because of my good fortune, my success, I have tremendous freedom. And that freedom is now my favorite part. But my second favorite part is the sharing.
Yes. A couple of questions about yourself, maybe not about the art. What is the last greatest book that you have read?
I do most of my books now on audio.
Oh, yeah, like me as well.
I love audiobooks. I do a lot of audiobooks, and one of my favorites is called Civilized to Death.
To get?
To death, like death.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Civilized to Death. And it discusses how human beings have evolved over the past 20,000 years. And it discusses pre-agriculture and post-agriculture human beings and how this has affected us. And so that's one of my favorites. Another is called The Coddling of the American Mind. And it deals with many of the things that are happening in Western culture now with no one can have their feelings hurt. So you cannot say you are fat or you are short or you are a man or a woman or ugly or
very wobbly topic, is it? Like, yeah.
So
Sensitive.
it discusses this situation, and you know, it's a unique book, and it's written by a very smart person who also understands social media very well. He's a social psychologist. So I like a lot of these books that deal with the brain. And then oops, I have to sneeze.
Oh, I would get.
Oh, no.
Bless you.
Thank you very much. So yeah, those are some of the recent books that were favorites.
Okay. What item would you be lost without?
One item. Shit. I mean, so I'm not having any luck right now because I've placed a lot of value not on items in my life.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, I've learned that I don't need my phone. I don't need my airbrush. Most of my work, by the way, is not airbrushed. I mean, that's just the background here, some airbrush, but a lot of paintbrush. But I think I love communication, and I love, you know, but that comes to me from television, computer, the phone. But I also know that I would not be lost without it. I know that if I just had to walking outside and talking to your neighbors. I don't drive anymore, so I'm not worried about my car. I love my home. I really do love my home. So if I had to count anything, my home, and that's something that a lot of my friends, I would give them advice. For me, having a home, I can travel the world and do whatever, but my home is it's like a nest for a bird, a place to return to. And I love my home, and it doesn't limit me in any way. It allows me freedom to travel and to do all of the other things, create my art. But one of my favorite things is to allow other people to come to my home and share my home. So I would say my home.
Great. Yeah. Okay. What movie can you watch over and over?
I have like maybe 5 of those. I love the movie Contact, Jodie Foster, Matthew McConaughey. It's about a woman who hears radio signals from out of space, from aliens, and then she's able to learn what these signals are saying. So then,
never heard of that one.
The book was written, it was a book from the 1970s, was written by a very famous American astronomer called Carl Sagan, but it's called Contact. And I think the movie is from the 90s, but it could be from the early 2000s. Excellent movie. I can watch it all the time. I also like the movie Predator a lot with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I like the movie Jaws, which was
a scary
Steven
one. A
Spielberg.
scary
Yeah,
one.
but most of the movie is not scary. Most of it is just three people on a boat talking. And so those are some of my favorites. But I love different movies in different categories. So, you know, my favorite romantic comedy, my favorite drama, all of that.
I see. Okay. Do you identify with any fictional character?
Wow. That's a crazy question. Okay.
Or an animal. Any character that you think you...
This is wild. These Russian ladies have crazy brains. I think that wow. So I love big cats, okay? But like I don't connect to them like necessarily, you know, creatively or anything. But if I were to want to be an animal, it would be a big cat, tiger, beautiful, powerful, not worried about anything, you know, living in the jungle, food is everywhere. Yeah. Everything is food, you know. So this shows up in my work. I also love trees. Trees and big cats are my favorites.
So and you would be a big cat sitting on the tree,
but it's not
doing your own things.
Yeah, not Spider-Man or anything, but yeah, those are things that I connect to.
What do you do on your spare time if you're not painting?
I love to talk to people. Yeah, I love the thing that we're doing right now is my favorite thing to do. I love it more than I love painting. I love when people sit and have coffee and have conversation, or alcohol and conversation, or whatever and conversation. If it's marijuana, if it's tea, if it's water. But when human beings get together and have conversation, that's my favorite thing.
Great.
Yeah.
What is the best piece of advice that you have been given?
I don't know that it was from a human being that I met, but I think it was advice from a motivational speaker. Okay. He's an American motivational speaker from like 1970s, and I heard it in the 1980s. But his name is Zig, Z-I-G, Ziglar. And he was like one of the first successful motivational speakers. And I listened to his voice as I was an illustrator alone a lot. And he would say things that I still repeat today. And so I think this advice from this man, he's dead now, but his legacy is still very powerful. And this advice was, if you help enough people get what they want, then maybe you'll be able to get what you want. And so that made a lot of sense to me. And he also talked very much about goals and setting goals. And, you know, so but that one about helping other people get what they want so that you can get what you want, I see that all the time. I see that it's not an absolute, but as a possibility.
That works well in the collaboration nowadays. It shows that probably the easier, because when you collaborate with people, you do some work together, you help them, they help you, and you have some kind of output. Probably it's one of the ways, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, we are social
Yes.
animals.
Yes.
Yeah. And so if I can help you get what you want enough, you might be able to in some way help me get what I
At some
want,
point,
or
yes.
I might be able to get what I want because I've helped you enough. And what I do with my work is I bring my beauty, mystery, and passion to other people, and they give me money and gratitude that fulfills my soul, my spirit. So I feel good. And that is a beautiful balance between the two, the giving and the receiving. And I hope that other people can find that same experience where they give enough. And this is often sacrifice. Remember when I talked about Skin Wars, I talked about 400 communications before I made a penny, or before Skin Wars had a name. And I'm not saying I'm not taking credit for Skin Wars. I mean, I'm communicating with executive producers and there's many other people involved. But what I'm saying is I gave and I gave and I gave, and it did come back. And I do that with my art. When I created this painting, I have no idea if it's going to be good or if anyone's going to buy it. I mean, I have some idea because I have experience, but some of my paintings, no one likes. Or they like it, but they don't want to buy it.
Yeah, but it depends very much on the preferences, because you can see that something is beautiful, but it's not the style that you would put in your home. So it doesn't have to be that the painting is not good. It's just like it's not matching to certain circumstances.
I put it out there and I hope that it's liked by someone, but if it isn't, then I paint another and I paint another.
So can you tell what you do with your backgrounds after you finish?
I fold them up and I put them in storage often. So I have this picture in my brain of being a very old man, and maybe bringing some of these backgrounds out and maybe giving them away to young people as inspiration. A piece of me to, maybe I'm 80 years old and I'm giving a lecture at an art school to 20-year-olds. And I bring
put it as what is it called? Like you put the one piece out of many pieces onto the wall into museum.
It's possible, but anything is possible. But the thing is that, some of them are nothing without the body, but it's from my work. It's from my hand.
Yeah, but that's your hand, exactly. And that's something that you have in pictures anyway. So it's kind of a part of your history.
And maybe my children will decide what to do with these things.
And
my job is to make them, right? And maybe someone else's job is to sell them or give them away.
And do you take the pictures yourself?
I do now, but in the beginning I did not. In the beginning I did not use digital. I used old traditional photography process. But Yeah, with digital cameras are easy, they're cheaper, they're powerful. Anyone that is afraid of photography, I can tell you that driving a car is more complicated and difficult than photography. I guarantee you this. And driving a car is more dangerous
Oh,
and
yeah.
more important than photography. So if you can drive a car, you can take your own photographs, no problem.
Yeah, it depends probably as well if you like it or not. Like I love
I don't
photography as
like it.
well. You don't like
I
it?
don't like it. No, I don't.
Okay,
It's technical.
I see. Yeah.
I like what photography offers, but I
Oh,
don't like setting up the lights,
oh
setting up
yes,
the
this is
camera. I
boring.
don't like the buttons and the dials and
Yeah.
the what. I'm an artist. I don't want to play with all of this machine shit. I want to paint the thing, right? And I see photography when I do it as I'm simplifying my life because my collectors want me to be the photographer. They want me to be responsible for everything. Even when I dictate the photography, when you listen to your favorite music, you don't ask who recorded the music, the technician using the
Yeah.
machine to record the music. This is exactly the same as photography. Exactly. But we have a romantic perception about photography that is bullshit to me, that doesn't apply to music, but it's exactly the same. Machines recording waves, sound waves, light waves, fuck it, it's the same thing. A videographer does not get as much respect as a photographer, but videography is way more complicated. This is
Yes.
crazy. Anyway, so I do my own photography, but if my wife or my girlfriend wants to do it, I am happy to let her or a friend or anyone do it. But I have to own it and I have to control it.
Yes.
That's the important part. So
If you would start your body painting career again, what would you do differently?
I thought in the beginning that the internet would be the way to sell my work, and I would not waste my time with that. That maybe wasted 1 year of my life with that. Um, but I'm pretty happy.
Okay, so you're happy with the development of your career then.
I'm very, very, very happy. Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time then?
I want to focus more on lecturing. I'd like to have enough work, enough success that I can focus my energy on giving, just giving my time, giving my energy to young people to create better art than my brain can imagine.
Good.
You know? Yeah.
And do you have any dream project to create something?
So I've had one dream project for the last 20 years. I've just finished it. We're making documentary about it. And hopefully the documentary will come out in 2022, but it might be 2023. Depends. Making a full-length documentary has been a nightmare because it involves so much work with filmmakers, and I don't have the control of everything that I would like. But I have one other project, and it involves working more with nature. So less work in the studio and more work in nature.
But you cannot tell anything more just now about this.
It's simple. It's just body painting
Oh, I
in
see.
nature.
I see.
Yeah, it's like I've body painted in nature multiple times. And I own books by other brilliant body painting artists that work with nature. I would like to dedicate 2-3 months of my life to just body painting in nature to see what I can create.
Is it warm enough in your country, in your place where you are, to do that?
I would not use my part of the United States. I would use the west of the United States. Utah, New Mexico, California, Arizona. They're beautiful, beautiful mountains, beautiful trees, you know.
Yes.
So
See. What?
my part of the
Yeah.
United States is great for culture. You know, culture, food, music, architecture, art. You know, the West, no culture, very little, but beautiful nature.
I see. Okay. What are the main skills that you think that help you to work as a body painter? Not an artistic skills, but at like additional skills. Any other?
Understanding how psychology and body language. When you create a painting, how it will be perceived by the audience. Understanding the body language of the model. So I would recommend that every body painting artist read books on body language and understand body language. How the difference is between this and this, you know, like very different. The understanding of business has helped me very much. Okay, I created this body painting. Now what? And yeah, so those are the main skills, I think.
Great. Okay. And I have the last question. What advice would you give to somebody wanting to break into body painting career?
I spent 1 year researching body painting, collecting body painting images, and learning, just learning. I would recommend the same. Learn.
So to
Then
look at the other artists and
look at every artist that has ever painted on a body. I recommend this. Other people, the exact opposite.
yeah, but yeah,
I would wonder, I feel that my success is part of that success is because of knowledge. And knowledge comes from gathering information. And much of that information is acquired by other people, not just me, not just my. Can you imagine your life if you only knew what you saw with your eyes? You know, it's very limited,
yes,
very limited.
definitely.
So allowing this other information in and then going, okay, there's an Eiffel Tower. There are some pyramids in Egypt. Okay, Easter Island has these giant, statues. Now I understand this. Now I will do my thing. So I look at all of the other artists and then I go, now I will do my thing.
So
I
to be
recommend
inspired by other artists.
research. Yes, that's what I recommend. Learn,
Great.
understand. Don't be ignorant, because you might try to become an artist who's doing the exact same thing someone else has already done, and now it's.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that's a
So
good
anyway.
advice. Good advice. Agree. Yeah.
And that's what we're doing right now. I mean, I'm sharing my experience with you, and you're going to share this experience with your followers, listeners, viewers, and that is sharing knowledge and information. That's what I recommend for a young artist. Learn. And then After about a year, practice. Just
Oh,
paint, 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 you know?
yeah.
Imagine that body painting was a trumpet or a guitar, and you have to practice, practice to get the discipline to become great.
Yes.
Or not.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to meet and to chat to
Absolutely.
me. It was a pleasure, and you're an amazing artist. You achieved so much in your
Okay.
life, and you're someone who is definitely worth to look into your career to take an advice from you.
Well,
So
thank you.
thank you very much, and
Appreciate
uh,
it. Goodbye.
bye.